Hello, welcome back to Learn Economia. Today we are going to discuss the very famous Jevons Paradox. So what does it mean by the idea of Jevons Paradox? What are the implications? Let's have a look on to the same here. In the very beginning itself, we could say that the idea of Jevons Paradox is given by a very famous English economist, William Stanley Jevons. He is an English economist, and this person was finding some contradictions, and he was explaining the very same which later came to be known as the Jevons Paradox, and this is also known in the name of the rebound effect. So you might have heard about the idea of bouncing back. Whenever you throw a ball, a rubber ball, it has got all the tendency to bounce back, right? So this wording has also got its implications as far as the idea of Jevons paradox is concerned. So let's identify the contextual aspect of Jevons paradox. The idea just suggests that whenever you have some improvements in some technology, for example, just think about some technological efficiency or some technological advancement. So if this is connected to the use of a particular resource, you can say that the consumption of the resource would be increasing. So what happens here is, just think about improvement in efficiency. We are talking about improvement in efficiency, and this efficiency is with respect to use of a resource, and this will lead to increase in consumption of that resource. I'll give you an example also while discussing Jevons paradox further. Okay, so what this person has done is that what Stanley William Jevons has done here is that he was conducting some studies, and he was actually observing the real world, observing the behavior of people, observing the way in which consumers were behaving, etc., etc. So based on this, he was putting forward his theory. So he says that whenever an advancement in some technology makes a particular technology more efficient, or a particular resource rather than technology, you can say that resource, and an advancement in technology, if it leads efficiency in some resource, you will be having a low cost scenario. So I'll show. Just think about a new technology. So why are we going for technology? Technology would be considered so as to have some improvements, right? So if it is reducing the cost of using a resource, so what happens here is we will be increasing the consumption of the resource. This is what it tells. So I'll give you an example. I'm giving you energy efficiency case. So this is the best example to consider Jevons paradox. I was telling you to connect energy efficiency on one hand and increasing consumption on the other hand, right? So how can this work here? Just think about a new technology. There is a new technology now. A new technology. And this new technology is in the arena of travel energy efficiency. Okay. So it is creating some efficiency here. A new technology in the arena of travel energy has created some efficiency. So what is it? Now you can travel more with less fuel. With less fuel. That means the fuel has been now more efficient. Now you travel more with less fuel. So what happens? It just implies that your cost of travel is increasing. Your cost is coming down, isn't it? So when your cost of travel comes down, when you see that, okay, I do not have to pay so much for fuel. So what do you make here? definitely your drives will be increasing. The number of drives that you make would be increasing, isn't it? You will travel a lot because you know that the cost is less here. So what happens here? This leads to more fuel consumption, and your consumption is increasing because to travel more you need to have more fuel, isn't it? So you could say that despite the increase or improvement that you had in the case of fuel efficiency, you are now having more fuel consumption happening, isn't it? So this is called the Jevons Paradox approach. So it just says this kind of contradiction, and it explains the relationship that would be happening between efficiency and consumption. You do have some resource efficiency, but it later leads to increase in consumption. I just suggest that we should have some more improvements. Just by having improvements in the name of efficiency will not be sufficient. Instead, what you need here is more advancements, more intervention. For example, you require policy intervention. So who will be taking this role? The government, isn't it? Now, you should take into consideration sustainable resource use. Why? Because you want to consider the needs and wants of future generation. So all these would be making the entire scenario much more better for not only the present generation but also the future generation. And for the very same reason, never ever think that efficiency with respect to its improvements will be sufficient. Definitely improvements in efficiency is required, but along with that you require some other changes as well. So it just gives us a reminder which tells that okay, we do have efficiency in resources, we do have the consumption happening, and sometimes this relation is not straightforward. This relation might be complex because we are not living in a scenario of perfect information. We are living in a scenario of imperfections. And for the very same reason, we need to ensure that we are having less externalities, we are having less pollution, and we are managing our resources properly so as to ensure that there is sustainable development. And this is the way in which you have to interpret the entire scenario. Just by having some resource efficiency won't be the need and requirement of our present economy, which is full of complications and complexities. Instead, what we do need along with the resource efficiency is government interventions, policy changes, sustainable development aspects, etc. etc. So that is all about the idea of Jevons paradox. I hope you could understand the concept. I request you to like, share and subscribe to this channel for more videos. I request you to join our free Telegram community. I'll be providing the link of the very same in the description box. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.